Hey everybody, Luke from Leaderboard Customers here, and I'm going to start a new video series on customizing shoes. I want to go over some tips and tricks that I've learned over the years and some that I picked up from other customizers. And so hopefully this video series helps you. They're going to be short videos, but I think they're going to be very impactful, whether you're a customizer yourself or you just want to know how shoes are customized. Hopefully you guys enjoy. So if any of these tips help you, if any of those videos are entertaining, then I would just ask that you please comment, like, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's jump into it. So this first video is going to be about stitching, how to work around it, and make sure that you're taking every step that you can to make sure it's durable and lasts. This is a pair of the Air Jordan 1 Low triple white golf shoes that I'm going to turn into a black and red colorway to match the recent release of, the recent release of the Air Jordan 1 bands, Air Jordan 1 Unbanned, the black and red. I am going to show you a quick tip that's easy, super easy to do, and it would help you with your durability of your customs. First, I'm going to show you what I used to do, and that is the shoes already prepped. I've obviously already painted the sock liner and the tongue black. The rest of the shoe is going to be black, except for the swoosh, the back logo, and the toe box will be red. But normally I would just take my flat black Angelus. Again, the shoe is prepped. I would then spray an adhesion promoter and then start my process. I'm just going to do a quick section of the shoe to show you the problems that I used to run into. And I'll recreate it here for you guys today. So we'll just take a little bit of the black paint and we are going to paint this small section here because I'm going to acetone this in a minute and paint it the proper way, what I consider the proper way. Now, again, normally I would add a little bit of adhesion promoter. That's not going to make a difference in this because even with your adhesion promoter, it does the same thing. Now with my first foundation and my first coats, I always let them air dry. And then I will hit it with a heat gun and then let it air dry a little bit more. Yes, that's overkill, but I want to make sure that my customs are durable as possible. So let's let this dry. We'll be right back. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes. The paint is dry. Now again, I could go over this a few more coats, but it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to show you my problem. You see that there's just been a little bit of area that I painted, but very gently, I'm going to take my finger. Let's zoom in here. Now I'm very gently doing this. I'm not scrubbing hard at all. Very light tension. As you can see, that paint has started to rub off. Not here, because I prepped the shoe, so it's going to hold pretty well. But now if I scratch it with this, obviously it would take some of the, because I'm damaging the leather at that point. But very light scraping. Take the other side and scrape it. Nothing has come off. Again, if you can see what I did with my fingernail, very light touch. And then of course the rest of the job. The reason why that's happening, the threading will never hold the paint. The paint is resting on top of the threading. It is not going to adhere to the threading. This will take longer to do, but it's the right way to do it. There's two ways you can do it. One, you can take your Golden 900 or your GAC 900, your GAC 900, and mix it with your Angelus paint in a 1-to-1 ratio. This is super easy to do, especially if like this is a custom that I'm going to do 2 colors, black and red, the majority of the shoe being black. So as you can see, when I was painting the sock liner, I did not care that I got into the threading. I actually purposely got most of the threading up top because I'm going to then take my GAC 900 and my Angelus paint in a 1-to-1 ratio and go through with a paintbrush, and I'm going to get it all over the threading. Now, let me show you how we do that. Okay, so what I like to do is I use a Q-tip to mix the GAC 900 and the paint. And then what I do is I use the same one, the same Q-tip, and I'm gonna go over all the threading. It does not have to be nice and neat, just as long as you're not getting it all over the place. And I go down all the way to the midsole, and again, I'm just making sure that I get all of the threading saturated with this mixture. Then also what you can do is you can do the edges, as you can see I've done up here, because the edging is not traditional, like it's even this non-real leather that this shoe is a synthetic leather. When you cut it, it's got that material. It's almost like a cloth-like material inside, which it's not cloth, but it's got that material that this paint with the GAC 900 will soak right in. So I'm gonna do the same thing that I would with my paint. I'm going to let this area soak or set and dry. Once it's dry, when you're using the GAC 900, this is not as important as painting the sock liner because it doesn't matter if this threading remains soft. The GAC 900, when you heat set it, will keep the material soft like your sock liners and your tongues, which you want to keep soft. You need to heat set it for several minutes. In this scenario, we're not worried about that. We just want to make sure it's completely dry to the touch. Once it's dry, then we'll heat set it for about 30, 45 seconds and we'll be good to go. Okay, so we've let it dry. We've heat set it for about 35, 45 seconds. And so this area right here, and of course all the way around, but we're gonna focus on this area right here. This threading is completely saturated with the GAC 900 and the Angelus paint. So let's just do a quick test. Okay. Now you can see that that paint, even with flicking it and trying to scratch it off, is not coming off. The reason being is that paint with this medium, this fabric medium, is soaking and saturating into the threading. The paint by itself does not soak into it, it just rests on top of the threading. So that's why when you take your finger and you rub it across, it comes off pretty easily. Like we'll go back to, you can see the difference. And even if I sit here long enough, I bet you I could get almost completely all of the paint off. And see how none of the paint on the leather's coming off, it's only the threading. It would be a shame for you, especially if you do customs for other people and people are paying you money for customs, to do a completely perfect job of prep. I did everything right. I prepped these the way you should prep shoes. I cut no corners. The only thing I did not do on this pair, this section right here, is add adhesion promoter, which normally I would, but the difference is on the threading, it doesn't matter. Continue to use your adhesion promoter, but in a scenario like this where you're painting an area that has threading, you want to make sure you can do one of two ways. you can do the GAC 900 and the paint in a 1-to-1 ratio, or you can use Angelus's dye, which I am going to use black dye because this is a tumbled leather and it is nearly impossible to keep from cracking and chipping on your customs, especially in an area like a toe box. So I'm going to use dye as my base layer and then Angelus's paint by itself. But you're threading, use the dye in these areas, or the GAC 900 and the paint by itself, in a 1-to-1 ratio. You can go from this to this. And see, still there. So if this video has helped you in any way, please consider subscribing, give it a like, comment down below. If there are other types of videos, other tips and tricks that you would like to see, any issues that you're having with your customs, comment down below, and I'd love to work on some new videos and get new material up and new content up for you guys. But I am working on that full start to finish custom. Should be out here in the next few weeks. All right, thank you guys.